Oh my God, stop. And so now the silly season is upon us, where the politicians pile the bullshit high and deep and pander to everyone who can be pandered to. Women, minorities. And we have an official candidate now for the Democrat Party. Vice President Joe Biden, Senator Harris from California, up for president and vice president. And I just really am wondering what the hell Joe Biden's been up to for the last 40 plus years that he's been entrenched in the swamp in Washington. Oh, you didn't know that? Joe Biden, I believe, was elected to the Senate in 1972. Longer than many of you have been alive. This guy has been in the Senate. Now, of course, he was vice president for 2 terms. Some of the highlights, and the one you'll hear all the time, I wonder why that would be. Anyone? Violence Against Women Act. I put the violence, I care about the women's. I did the Violence Against Women Act. Well, there's an accomplishment. Great. Tell us about the Clarence Thomas hearings. One of the first, or one of the few, capital B, Americans to ever be appointed to the Supreme Court. Why were you so against that, Joe? Oh, you were fighting for the woman. Because Clarence Thomas was an evil, oppressive man. Yeah, he was off the reservation, though, because he was a conservative. Right, Joe? So you had to fight tooth and nail for what? Well, for the honor of the woman that he insulted and harassed and all that stuff. Or was it to make sure that the women would keep voting for you, Joe? Because, abortion, anything like that, maybe? Just throwing it out there. So it turns out for all the wailing and gnashing of teeth that Biden did, Clarence Thomas was appointed. Oh, you don't remember Robert Bork before? No, let's not even talk about that. So my question is this. Biden has been around for a very long, half a century, essentially, in government, right? And now Joe Biden is coming out with his platform. And what is he going to do you think? He's pledging to solve the beer situation. Of course, he pledges to end poverty, address climate change, also get rid of, R-ism, of course, S-ism, right? Women's rights. Well, let me tell you a little bit of a story. As you know, Vice President Biden was the vice president with Obama as president. During the first 2 years of the administration of Obama and Biden, they had absolute majorities in the Senate and in the House and the presidency. They could have done anything they wanted to. They could have solved these problems. Poverty, they could have solved it. That they could have removed the Hyde Amendment, which would allow the government to pay for abortions. Isn't that something all these lefty women want? The free abortion? It should be free. It's my right. They could have done a lot to help with the R problem, right? They could have done all sorts of happy shit. An absolute majority in Congress and the White House, and they didn't do jack shit. The only thing they did was Obamacare, and now Biden is running on the fact that the healthcare system in this country is broke, and we need to fix it. Excuse me, Joe, what the hell are you saying? You told us at the time, well, we passed Obamacare. We'll find out what's in it when we read it, Nancy Pelosi said. After we pass it, of course. It was supposed to be the fixer of all the evil healthcare problems we have in the United States. And now you're telling us, Joe, 10 years later, it sucks. We got to do something. Oh, my God. Well, they did that. And now it needs to be tossed and something, something closer to universal government-sponsored healthcare is coming. Yeah. And, of course, they made a big stinking deal out of the Lilly Ledbetter Equal Pay Act. Again, sometimes I wonder if these people actually aren't living somewhere in the past, like prior to 1963, when it was actually legal to pay men and women differently based only on their gender. Doing the same job, you could pay women less. Or more, I suppose. And so the Lilly Ledbetter Act, what did that do? What did it do? Well, of course, equal pay for women. Rah, 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 he's the best. Obama walks on water, oh my God. What it did was change the rules so that someone who believes they've been discriminated against at work, they could file a complaint with the EEOC, and there would be a different time limit It used to be like 180 days, and they changed it so it's indefinite or whatever. So they made it a little better if you believe you're being discriminated against at work with respect to pay and your sex, to file with the EEOC, which was created after the Equal Pay Act of 1963 was passed. So I think Lilly Ledbetter is a good thing. If absolutely someone is being paid based differently on their sex, that's wrong. And it's been illegal since 1963. But you see, Joe and Obama, they passed the Lilly Ledbetter Act. Big ceremony. There she was herself, Lilly Ledbetter. See, we care about women. When in fact it really didn't do a whole hell of a lot since it's been illegal since 63. So why didn't they do something more? All of these women getting paid less based on their sex. Joe and Obama, what'd you do? You had 2 years, full control. What did you do about that, Joe? So it's interesting, when Trump ran in 2016, he really had not much of a political record. I don't think he was in politics at all. He had a business record, businessman, and all that other crap. But he wasn't a politician. Joe Biden has a 40-some year record of nothing. Nothing has been accomplished to address the problems he's trying to address now. See, now is the time we can solve these things. I just spent the last 40-some years really sitting on my ass doing nothing. Now we can solve the problems. Day 1, by the way. I'll put the link below. James Maxwell, thank you for listening.